News Channel 10 News with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Thursday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And people just can't stop talking about this stretch of weather.
Yeah, it's been so dry, it's been so sunny, and I'm just doing a count pretty much for every single day so far. So what day are we on right now, Gary? We're on day 9.
Oh, wow.
Day 9 of not a single drop of rain measured at Griffiths in Rome. If we go beyond that, we had a couple days here and there, especially in the 9th of September, where we did see around ½ an inch of rain, which is good, but behind that, or at least ahead of that, was even more dry weather. So this incredibly dry stretch of conditions continue here in the Mohawk Valley. A live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Things are dry here in central New York. We zoom out. There's that low pressure that was slowly inching north. It was on our doorstep yesterday, but a lot of that rainfall stayed outside of our area, and now is since heading its way to the east. Current conditions across the Northeast, you can see here, Boston and New York City reporting rain showers. Here inland, not so much. In fact, plenty of clear skies here. 48 the temperature in Rome, 45 in Hamilton, 49 degrees in Johnstown. And today, starting in the 40s, we're going to climb into the mid to upper 70s with plenty of sun yet again. So we have lots of sunshine today. A cold front moves through tonight. Will that bring any rainfall? We're going to track when it arrives and its impacts here locally in that full forecast. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. A week after the murder.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to Sunrise, everybody. Time now is 5:11. As you head out to work today, you'll be encountering mainly quiet weather. As always, we take a look at some roadways this morning. It is dry across pretty much every corner of central New York. And when it comes to fog, actually not a whole lot right now that I'm seeing. We have some passing clouds, but mainly clear skies. In fact, the moon today, or at least early this morning, looks like a fingernail with how close it is to a new moon. Radar, of course, is dry at this hour. Traffic trackers showing plenty of green. No accidents to tell you about this morning. So again, this morning it is a cooler start. Temperatures begin in the 40s, some spots 50s, but mainly 40s here locally. This afternoon, those temperatures do climb up into the 70s. Plenty of sun. It's a beautiful Friday today. Now, yes, it is dry. We head into tonight, a cold front moves in. Now, it is dry near the surface with that air and even way up in the sky, but will there be enough forcing in the atmosphere to produce rainfall? We're going to talk about that cold front moving in coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. You probably heard about
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. On this Thursday, it is a cool morning, but a quiet one, again, as our gorgeous but dry stretch of weather continues. Downtown Utica, live view outside early this morning. It is a quiet start today. Temperatures beginning in the upper 40s with clear skies at Griffiths and Rome. Refreshing humidity out there again as this low humidity, dry, sunny stretch of weather continues on. And we take a look at the radar and satellite. We can see, of course, that rainfall out to sea. Here locally, not a drop of rain, even in the entire state, with the exception, of course, of New York City and Long Island. So while we're on the topic of a lack of rainfall, I want to share some research I did late yesterday morning, on the percentage of normal stream flow. Now, what does this mean? It means the levels of the flow of the water here in some streams and rivers. Now, you see the scale up on the top of your screen here. As you approach the bottom part of it, of course, obviously the reds mean low, but I want to focus on what that bright red means. See that low? See any bright red dots here on the map? That means that these streams with the bright red dots have reached their lowest levels in its history. So you look in perspective here. One to mention, West Canada Creek at Cass Bridge, currently just around, I believe, 4.3 feet, or it's 2.3 feet. I don't know the exact number here. But either way, it is in the less than 1 percentile of rain or of stream flow, which puts it at its lowest level in 103 years. So if you're wondering if you're driving by some local creeks and streams and they are lower than you ever saw before, you're not mistaken. So low pressure moves along the coast. A cold front arrives heading into Friday. Now this might not bring rainfall, maybe a stray sprinkle, but it will impact us at least at some point heading into Friday night into Saturday, and I'll explain here. So today, lots of sun, high temperatures, upper 70s. By tonight, lows fall into the 50s and 60s. That cold front moves through, maybe a stray sprinkle. Early morning clouds Friday turn to sunshine as we head into Friday afternoon. You can see here a little breezy, but I want to mention what happens Friday night with that cold front passing over us and the skies remaining clear. Those temperatures are going to fall quickly. In some spots as low as the mid-30s. And personally, I think, yes, it is a bit on the early side, but I would be careful with any outdoor plants, including the Mohawk Valley, Friday night and into Saturday. Potentially some frost developing there. Now, we'll keep a close eye on it, but at least an early heads up right now that it could be cold enough to support that type of temperature drop. The winds, if they're strong enough, might be the limiting factor there. But either way, we head into Saturday and Sunday with plenty of sun. First day of fall looking pretty dry. Next week, we are still dodging some rain chances. They look a little more impressive than this week, but still, we'll take what we can get in terms of rainfall and enjoy the sunshine when we have it.
We're due to dodge.
Yes.
Eric, thanks. The time right now is 5:22. Still good morning once again, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. I'm Gary Liberatore. If you're getting ready to head out the door this morning, get ready for that broken record to play one more time. Right, Eric?
Yeah, the broken record keeps going. We are on day 9 of no rainfall as this dry stretch continues on, Gary. Let's take a look at what's going on out there right now. First off, a live view of the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Things are dry as a bone here in the Mohawk Valley. We zoom out. Low pressure bringing some rainfall to the coast of New England and including at New York City. In fact, we take a look at some conditions here across the Northeast. Rain reported in New York City and in Boston. Temperatures actually a lot warmer near the coast in the low 60s. Here inland toward the Mohawk Valley, it's a lot cooler in the 40s for a lot of the area. 48 Rome, 47 Johnstown, and 42 up in Saranac Lake. Now today, we start out in the 40s. We climb into the 70s. Plenty of sun, a beautiful afternoon expected. A cold front moves in tonight, and this will bring the potential for maybe a light sprinkle or even some clouds, but there's actually a bigger impact that might affect pretty much all of our area heading into Friday night. We'll talk about that frost potential for the start of the weekend in that full forecast. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. Today in the
Channel 2 is brought to you by Holland Farms Bakery and Deli. This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Clouds are an interesting thing here, not for the fact that, you know, they're clouds and they sometimes can produce rainfall, but you get the right layer of clouds over the area at the right position and you get vibrant sunsets like this one here, sent in by Mark in Utica. Look at that vibrant fiery sunset out in the distance there. Almost every location yesterday was able to see these vivid colors, and just one of the best things about this area is that you still can get these types of setups here. Some of the locations, maybe due to hills and whatnot, but at least for our area, blessed with great views of sunsets like this. If you have a photo like this sunset right here you'd like to share with us, that link right there on the top of your screen, WKTV.com/weather/pics. Send your photo there and have a chance to be photo featured right here on News Channel 2 at sunrise every weekday morning. Now today it's a cool start. It's a dry and sunny afternoon, but will we see any rain chances from that cold front tonight? We'll have the details on that in that full forecast. Gary?
Eric, thanks. It will now be slightly cheaper.
Most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Clear skies this morning, turning to sunny skies this afternoon. Although it is a little chilly to start your day today. A live look at downtown Utica. We can see, of course, the quiet conditions out there early this morning. Temperature sitting at 48 degrees with clear skies at Griffiths and Rome and a southeast wind of around 6 miles per hour. Radar and satellite shows low pressure still hugging the coast of New England, heading out to sea here locally. No rainfall expected throughout the day today. And while we're on the topic of no rainfall, I want to show this map right here. Did some research late yesterday morning on the percentage of normal stream flow for not only our local area, for much of the Northeast. And look at this scale up here in the top. So if you look at a green means relatively normal. As you get into the reds, you're closer to below average, and the bright reds, I want to focus on those. Bright red dots here on this map mean that the stream that has that red icon it's at its lowest point in its recorded history. So put that in perspective here. A lot of Vermont, New Hampshire, record low stream flows. One that's local, right here, West Canada Creek, is currently at its lowest point right now in its 103-year recorded history. So it is very low in some spots. You can see heading toward the southern tier, it's closer to normal, but with the lack of rainfall, that's really what's driving this low stream flow here locally. So any more rain expected? Well, that low goes out to sea. This cold front moves its way in from the north, and then it does remain pretty dry heading into the weekend. Right here, out west, is our next shot of rainfall, which looks to arrive by the early to middle part of next week, but still, even then, rainfall not really that consistent. So today, 70s, plenty of sunshine. Tonight, clouds increase, lows fall into the upper 50s, low 60s. Maybe a light sprinkle to start your day, but by the afternoon, the clouds clear out and sunshine moves in. As we head throughout Friday, highs are in the 60s, but with the northwest wind and north wind and clear skies, look at these temperatures here Saturday morning in the 30s. So there could be some patchy frost even in parts of lower elevations. Now the wind might be the factor here in preventing that frost from forming, but just a heads up that there could be some frost development Saturday morning and then warming up into the 60s by Saturday afternoon, 70s by Sunday. Still plenty of sun, upper 70s for the first day of fall, and then that continues into the middle of next week. We'll be right back.
The news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Thursday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
Boy, those pictures over at Delta Lake are intense.
Yeah, so much lower water levels, couldn't get the word out there. It has been outrageously dry over the past several weeks, past few months. In fact, even just in the short term, we're sitting at day 9 of no rain. I'll just keep doing the countdown until we see a drop of rain at Griffiths. Now, besides this stretch of no rainfall from, again, 9 days, we have even a longer stretch beyond that as we head into early September and beyond. A live look now at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Things are dry across central New York. And we zoom out, there's that rainfall. It's right here, way off in the coast. And right now, it's expected to stay out there for the remainder of the day today. Now, there were rain showers reported in New York City and in Boston. But now, since just mostly cloudy skies. Even warmer, though, near the coast. It's a little cooler as you head out into central New York, as you can see here. 47 in Rome, 45 Hamilton, 49 over in Johnstown, and down to 40 up in Saranac Lake. Now today, we're in the low 40s, climbing into the 70s by this afternoon. We'll have a look at what we can expect in terms of potential rain tonight and that cold front, how it impacts the potential for frost tomorrow night, coming up in that full forecast. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. A week after the murder.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to Sunrise on this Thursday. Time now is 6:11 on this Thursday morning. Heading out to work today, we take a look at our area cameras from Deerfield all the way down to Oneonta. And a common sight here, mainly clear skies. A less common sight here, a lack of fog. We've had such foggy mornings in parts of our area this week that seems like an outlier here today. It's not all fog free. In fact, 1 mile visibility in Hamilton. There are some patches here and there, but still a lot less than days past. It's a dry morning. Radar showing quiet conditions. The traffic flow is green. No accidents to check in on this morning as well. So you head out to work today. We begin with temperatures in the 40s and 50s, clear skies. This afternoon, we're in the 70s. Sunshine, gorgeous weather. You can leave those windows down and have some fresh air as you drive into work today, or even drive home from work. But by tonight, a cold front moves in. This will bring clouds, maybe a light sprinkle. But more importantly, it's going to cool things down tomorrow night with potential for frost. We'll have the details on that in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. You probably heard about Hamilton, as in the
WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. Beautiful conditions, or at least cool conditions early today, but plenty of sun is expected for the entire day today. A live look in Oneonta. Sunrise just shortly expected a few moments from now. Temperature 48 degrees, a lot of central New York in the 40s to start your day today. And we will climb from the 40s up into the 70s by this afternoon with just downright gorgeous conditions. A little breezy, though. That's going to be the key here. So low pressure rainfall staying out toward the Atlantic coast here inland in central New York. It is entirely dry. And while the dry weather continues, we have a look at the percentage of normal stream flow. Now, I did the research yesterday morning on this, and what I found was that New Hampshire, Vermont, and a lot of upstate New York, mainly north of the Mohawk Valley, even in some locations down near the southern tier right over here, well below average levels of stream flow in area creeks and streams. I want to focus on the color bright red here. Any bright red dot you see, these streams are at their lowest points on this day in its entire history. For example, here locally, West Canada Creek at its lowest level in 103 years. So if you drive by it and you see the water levels are low and you're thinking, wow, that's very low, probably lowest I've ever seen, you're not mistaken. Green dots, by the way, indicate around average. So as you head closer to, say, Binghamton, the water levels down there seem to be doing relatively a lot more on the healthier side compared to up here in the Mohawk Valley. So low pressure exits out to sea. Our next rain chance, although it's very, very low, is that cold front that moves through tonight and early tomorrow. Following that, here's our next rain chance early next week. And there's a better shot for that producing rain than at least this cold front moving through tonight. So today it's sunny, it's dry, temperatures in the 70s. Here comes that cold front overnight. A few sprinkles possible in the overnight into early morning hours Friday. Clouds turn to sunshine by Friday afternoon. Still a bit breezy. Temperatures in the 60s, so a cooler Friday is expected. Friday night, though, With clear skies and that north wind, those temperatures are going to free fall. And here's a look at that frost potential. If you're seeing your area in pink, that's the highest chance of seeing frost. The valley locations in the southern valleys, higher elevations in the Adirondacks and Tug Hill, and a few of these hilltops here around the Mohawk Valley. Still, yes, some parts of the valley could see frost. It's not high, but it's possible. So if you want to be extra cautious, you can bring those sensitive plants indoors again tomorrow night. Then by Saturday, it does warm back up into the upper 60s, 70s by Sunday. Still plenty of sun for our final weekend of summer. And then next week, still rather warm. Maybe a few more rain chances heading in the middle of next week.
Another nice Friday night lights, right?
Oh yes, Friday night lights. Maybe grab a sweater. Be on the cooler side.
Eric, thanks. Well, it will now be slightly cheaper. Thank you for joining us for this half hour. I'm Gary Liberatore, meteorologist Eric Gage over in the Weather Center. And Eric, once again, you're tracking nice weather, right?
Yeah, that dry stretch continues, Gary. We're on to day 9 of no rain, not a single drop on anything in Griffiths and Rome. But we take a look at what's going on outside right now, and yes, that dry weather still continues. A look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Things are dry across the board at this hour. We zoom out, and there is some rain along the coast in New England. Again, that is expected to head out farther to sea, and here locally, not expecting a single drop. So, we look at the current conditions across the Northeast. Rain showers reported in Boston and in New York City. Well, there was rain showers in New York City. Now it's since dried up a little bit. But either way, it's a lot warmer near the coast in the 60s. Here in the Mohawk Valley, we are in the 40s. 47 in Rome, 49 in Johnstown, 45 Hamilton with some fog, by the way, and 40 up in Saranac Lake. Now today, we start out in the 40s. We climb into the 70s by this afternoon. And overall, pretty sunny, little breezy day today. Now by tonight, a cold front moves in. This could bring a few sprinkles mixed in with clouds, but more importantly, it's going to cool things down big time as we head into tomorrow night with the potential for frost returning to a lot of the area. We'll have a look at that and who is most likely to see that frost coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget the storm.
Welcome back, everybody. Now, with the system that produced rainfall along the coast here over the past few days, not producing rain here, obviously, but what it did produce is some mid to upper level clouds. It was the prime position to produce some pretty colorful sunsets, including this photo of a vibrant sunset taken in Utica by Mark. Look at this photo right here of some downtown Utica buildings there and those very, very colorful clouds way out in the distance. A lot of the area is able to see these vibrant colors last night, and if you have a photo of your own you'd like to share with us, right at the top of your screen there, WKTV.com/weather/pics. You can go there, upload your photo, include your name, of course, if you wish to receive credit, and we can have a chance of featuring your photo right here on News Channel 2 at sunrise every weekday morning. There's so many great submissions, but thank you, though, to Mark for taking this great shot of Utica and that sunset. So today, it's a cool start, lots of clear skies, plenty of sun this afternoon, no rainfall expected. As we head into tonight, though, a cold front is moving in. We're tracking that, if it produces any rain, and what will follow in terms of frost potential Friday night coming up in that full forecast. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Police in Milwaukee say 6 children were engaged. Joining us now, and Eric, no rain in sight. How many days in a row are we talking?
We are now entering day 9, Gary.
Goodness.
Day 9, and even before that, still the rain we had was few and far between. So yeah, the total count right now measured at Griffiths and Rome officially. That's where our rainfall numbers are tallied. And sometimes, you know, it's not always accurate. Sometimes there's a rain shower up north or south that doesn't get classified. But to make it easier for records, again, we use Rome for that base. A live look in Oneonta right now. Blue skies, cloudless down in the city there. The trees still starting to change right now. Actually, I'll have more details on that coming up in a few minutes when it comes to that fall foliage. Radar is entirely dry. Temperatures across the Northeast in the 70s, pushing 80 in the near New York City. Currently in the Mohawk Valley, though, 71 Rome, 70 Johnstown, 71 heading up into Saranac Lake. So the next 12 hours, sunshine turns to increasing clouds this evening as a cold front moves through. This maybe could bring a sprinkle, and that's kind of pushing it in terms of how strong this front could be. A lot of dry air at play here, but in the meantime, we have the latest fall foliage report, some locations reaching their midpoint, and we have the latest details on when the peak fall colors are expected coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. 3 police officers.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon. Saw some pretty nice colors right there from our vantage point here on Smith Hill from our tower cam. But before we get to that forecast, though, just a quick heads up. I want to start out with the most impactful thing over the next few days, and that would be frost risk for tomorrow night into Saturday morning. You can see the areas in pink are the highest chance of seeing frost. That includes the Adirondacks, Tug Hill, valley locations in the southern valleys, and hilltops in and around the Mohawk Valley. There's still a chance for a lot of locations to see frost, but again, the highest chances are in those areas in pink. The temperatures are going to fall down into the 30s for a lot of the area overnight. And we'll get to that in a second on the cause. So, a live view outside, blue skies, gorgeous outdoor weather, temperatures just reaching the low 70s, comfortable humidity, and a northwest wind of around 3 miles an hour. So high pressure is in place here today. As we head into tonight, this cold front to our north is going to inch its way south. In the meantime, it's part of a much larger air mass of colder air. Look at that. We got some snow well north of us, by the way. This is not hitting us in central New York, but either way, the air mass is cooler, and it's going to drive in some colder temperatures as we head into the end of the week and into the start of the weekend. The latest fall foliage report, look at this right here. We have some locations at their midpoint in the Adirondacks, including some portions near Old Forge and Inlet, primarily near Whiteface and the High Peaks area, and sections of Hamilton County. As you head farther south, of course, you get into less colors. The southern valleys, some of them really aren't seeing a whole lot of color, some greens and yellows. Of course, you head into the Catskills, even more of those higher elevations there. Colors still looking a little bit on the vibrant side. Give it about a week and a half, and we're going to be near peak colors in the Adirondacks. 2 weeks, and we've got peak fall colors. I'll give you a time frame for that. And still, we look into the next 2 weeks, and temperatures still looking very warm, above average. So if you're wondering what the weather's going to be like as we approach the first couple of days of October, well, you've got some warmer air to follow. So on our Skycast, sunshine across the board today. Here comes that cold front. It could produce a brief sprinkle into the late evening and overnight. Friday morning, mostly cloudy, patchy drizzle, temperatures in the 50s and 60s. By the afternoon, still on the cooler side, mid-60s, breezy with a northwest wind here. And that wind shifts more northerly. Saturday night, you can see those overnight lows falling quickly into the 30s. Some spots you can see 35, 36, 37. I don't think some spots will get that cold in the valley, but still, with these 30-degree temperatures here and there, you might want to bring in your sensitive plants. So just a heads up, Friday night into Saturday, potential for frost. Then, by Saturday afternoon, we warm up into the mid-60s to upper 60s. Still plenty of sun, a little warmer on Sunday, but either way, you have any weekend plans, maybe dress a little bit on the warmer side, but I mean, you got nice weather both days, and then fall comes in with the 70s and sun. Next week, still looking on the warm side.
Maybe we should do our morning show live up in Old Forge tomorrow morning.
I would love that, Gary.
24 degrees.
24 degrees, waking up with all that sunshine and maybe some frost on the ground.
Eric, thanks. The world's largest meteorologist, Eric Gage, joining us now. And Eric, once again, you're doing some more research for us, right?
Yeah, and this was some research I did yesterday, and this was regarding stream flow. Let's take this full screen right now because I showed this map to you guys yesterday. I want to dive into it a little bit more. So I did even some more digging with the USGS on the overall levels of runoff for water for New York State this year is its lowest it's been, obviously some spots in its recorded history, but overall, it's the lowest it's been since 1995, and then before that, 1965, so about 30 years each. So it's an interesting phenomenon taking place where every 30 years it reaches that low level, but again, correlation does not equal causation. Before that, it was 1949 and then 1941. So if you're wondering when was the last time it's been this dry, again, you got to go back to the mid-90s for that to be a record there. So, live look at Oneonta. Yeah, sun still shining across the board. It's a beautiful day out there. Radar looking dry. Temperatures across the Northeast in the 70s. Here in the Mohawk Valley, still looking to be in the low 70s. And so today, temperatures peaking in the upper 70s to mid-70s. By tonight, clouds increase. Cold front moves through, bringing clouds and the chance of a stray shower. And then following that, it's going to be clear tomorrow evening and tomorrow night, allowing the potential for frost to form. We'll talk about those highest impact areas coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. The San Diego Air.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon. It's been a beautiful day so far today. In fact, if you were up earlier this morning, you might have seen something pretty interesting in the sky. It doesn't look like any normal plane. It looks almost like a slow-moving comet. As a matter of fact, it was the Falcon 9 rocket from SpaceX, launched from Florida early this morning, and it was basically going up into orbit, launching about 28 Starlink satellites. So if you're wondering what that giant flying object was in the sky earlier this morning, don't worry, it's not a UFO. Downtown Utica, blue skies out there today. Temperatures already in the low 70s, comfortable levels of humidity as we enter day 9 of no rainfall. And that might continue even beyond today, including into the start of the weekend. In the meantime, though, our latest fall foliage report shows we got some midpoint colors up in the Adirondacks, the high peaks near Old Forge and Inlet, parts of Hamilton County, too, as well. The Catskills also showing some vibrant colors. You head down into the southern valleys, though, especially down Unadilla Valley here, some greens, maybe some muted yellows. So the southern valleys lagging a little bit in terms of colors here. But again, north of Utica, you got some vibrant colors starting to pop out. I'd say give it a week and a half for some near peak colors in the Adirondacks. In about 2 weeks from now, peak colors in the high peaks and much of the higher elevations up north. And then, of course, 3-4 weeks out, that peak color will eventually move into the Mohawk Valley. So on our Skycast today, plenty of sunshine, temperatures climbing into the upper 70s. By tonight, cold front moves in. You can see a few areas of clouds, very low chance for a sprinkle or two. This is nothing impressive in terms of rainfall. It's going to be a cloudy start tomorrow. Temperatures beginning in the 50s and 60s. The clouds basically clear out by the afternoon, and sunshine moves in by Friday evening. It's going to be a pretty nice evening, but maybe sweatshirts and long sleeve shirts for any high school football games tomorrow night. A little breezy. Temperatures also plummet big time tomorrow night into the 40s, eventually 30s in a lot of the area. That north wind is kicking in. You got all that dry air in place. Prime conditions for those temperatures to free fall. By Saturday morning, a lot of locations in the mid 30s. So when it comes to frost potential here, if you look at the scale, the highest chance of seeing frost, obviously parts of the Adirondacks, Tug Hill, the valleys in the southern valleys, and hilltops surrounding the Mohawk Valley. But not everyone is completely clear. This time, I mentioned last time we had frost potential, the Mohawk Valley was in the clear. This time, can't rule that out with how cool it might get for some locations down into the mid-30s. So again, just a heads up, Saturday, at least Friday night and Saturday morning, maybe bring in those sensitive plants or at least cover them. The weekend, though, not too bad. Have any plans? I mean, it's a colder day Saturday, highs in the mid-60s. Sunday, a little warmer. Both days sunny. First day of fall arrives, and those temperatures rise again into the upper 70s. Maybe a rain chance on Tuesday, still looking unimpressive, remaining in the 70s for the first few days of fall. Gary?
Eric, thanks. We are back with News Talk. Our guest today is Dr. James.
Let's talk about these conditions and if we are going to see some improvement here. I mean, how long has it been?
It's been about 3 months, really, of really, really dry conditions. We've gotten about 30 to 40% of rainfall compared to what we should have received over the last 3 months, and that has done a lot of damage. And unfortunately, it's going to get worse before it gets better. I don't know if we're going to reach those critical stages, but we are going to see more dry weather before we begin to see more rainfall return to the forecast. Again, more beautiful weather tonight. Plenty of sunshine, bright blue skies, 79 degrees with partly cloudy skies up in Rome. It's been a tad breezy today. We've had about a 5 to 15 mile per hour wind today, and that'll be around through the evening hours, and then it'll subside. Tonight, though, temperatures are going to be in the mid-70s, plenty of sunshine, beautiful conditions this evening. Lows tonight, not nearly as chilly. Coming up, we're going to talk about how it is going to be way, way chillier Friday evening into Saturday morning. Kristen, Jason?
All right. James, thank you. 6 months after announcing
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist James DeFazio.
Good Thursday evening. Another warm, sunny, beautiful day across Central New York. We're going to continue to see much more of this weather. We are going to see much cooler temperatures as we head into tomorrow and Saturday. We're tracking a cold front. It's going to work through overnight tonight. But right now, beautiful conditions, very few clouds in the sky, plenty of sunshine, and that continues tonight. Up at Griffiths and Rome, I believe we had a high right around 80 degrees, 79 degrees with partly cloudy skies. It's been a tad breezy today, 5 to 15 mile per hour winds, and these winds will continue for a couple more hours and then become calm overnight once the sun sets. Relatively comfortable levels of humidity continue. Here comes that cold front that works through overnight tonight, and it brings in much colder air. Some of the coldest air that we're going to have seen yet this season. We're going to see a very, very chilly night Friday night. We're going to break that down coming up. After a very warm day today, that cold front works through overnight. Highs tomorrow only in the upper 60s again Saturday. Then we begin the warming trend. Low to mid 70s Sunday, upper 70s on Monday. First day of fall feeling more like summer than fall. As we look to the future, the last week of September into the first week of August, the Climate Prediction Center continues to see a favorability and high probability of above average temperatures. We're still seeing 60 to 70% likelihood for above average temperatures as we head into the beginning of October. Your foliage report, leaves are beginning to change. We're seeing plenty of color across Central New York. We're up to the midpoint across the Adirondacks. Things have expanded across the southern regions as well. There's a lot of beautiful, beautiful conditions out there. Dry weather continues on your Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. As we head into Saturday morning, we're going to see quite a bit of freeze. It looks like the graphic is frozen right now, but I'm going to play that later, and I'll have it posted online. We are tracking very cold conditions for Friday morning. Tonight, a sprinkle is possible with the passage of the cold front. It's going to be very unlikely, very few and far between. That would be between 9 and 10 p.m. As we head into Friday, we have clouds during the morning, decreasing clouds throughout the day, sunny skies to finish the day. Again, highs only in the upper 60s, but plenty of sunshine during the evening hours. Look what happens, though, as we head towards Saturday morning. I'm going to have this stopped at 6:30 a.m. Saturday morning. Yes, that's 23 degrees in Old Forge, 34 degrees in Utica. Very, very cold weather. If you have any plants outdoors, still any vegetation, you're going to want to protect it before Friday night, before Saturday morning. Tonight, though, sunny skies, mid-70s, pleasant conditions. A look at your 7-day forecast. Beautiful weather continues into the beginning of the weekend. It's a bit of a chilly start, but there's going to be plenty of sunshine. We're starting Saturday morning very chilly. Make sure you protect any vegetation that is still out there. And Sunday, we warm up a little bit. By the first day of fall, we really warm up. It's going to feel more like summer. And then I can confidently say I do believe that I know I said yesterday there's a chance Tuesday. I now would say it's probable that we see a shower Tuesday. I think it's likely that we get a little bit of rain on Tuesday.
All right.
Nothing widespread.
not significant.
But something.
Okay.
James, thank you.
Well, the peak of Atlantic hurricane season is past. No storms making U.S. landfall yet.
Lee Waldman reports storm season is quiet but not over.
We're predicting an above-average season once again, 2025 above average.
Despite that ominous warning ahead of the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season, the United States has avoided landfall from a hurricane so far.
Overall, the activity is at this point lagging sort of climatology a little bit by a couple of named storms and 2 or 3 hurricanes.
Earlier this week, Tropical Storm Gabrielle formed in the central Atlantic Ocean, ending an unusual nearly 3-week stretch with no storms during the peak of hurricane season. It's been a quiet September so far, but director of the National Hurricane Center, Michael Brennan, says we shouldn't let our guard down just yet.
As we get into late September and that focus for activity really does shift farther west, closer to home, which can mean if we have storms form in those areas, they're much more likely to affect land.
Brennan says storms can also form and strengthen in a very short period of time. He reminds people to look at last year as an example with Hurricanes Helene and Milton. Those storms made landfall in late September and early October, respectively.
We had a lot of these similar discussions in 2024. There was a very quiet period in August into early September. And then we got really, really busy and late in the season.
The Atlantic hurricane season ends in November. Brennan urges people to stay alert.
If you have another storm form nearby and make landfall within 3 or 4 days, you don't have a lot of time to get ready. And that's why it's so important to have that hurricane plan in place now.
In New York, I'm Lee Waldman.
Coming up, 3 police officers are killed.
Let's get you back over to James for another look at the forecast.
It's a beautiful night yet again to take the dog out for a walk or do any outdoor activity that you might be interested in. And tonight's featured dog is Karma from West Schuyler. He's lounging on the bed, having a good time. He might be looking at his owner, though, wondering, can I go for a walk? But we're in the upper 70s right now. It's going to cool down very slowly tonight. It's going to be a mild evening, so it's going to continue to be comfortable outdoors, even if you wanted to go for a walk in an hour or 2 from now. We're tracking a few things. A cold front arrives tonight, and it's going to bring much cooler air for Friday and for Saturday. A heavy frost is expected for Friday night. We're going to break down the exact temperatures coming up. And then our next chance for rain comes Tuesday. Our significant drought continues. Taking a look at our current temperatures across the region, we're in the low to upper 70s. Highs are right around 80 degrees at Griffiths and Rome today. Again, coming up, we're going to break down what rainfall chance we do have, as well as how cold it's going to get Friday night. Jason, Kristen?
All right, James, thank you. The city of Rome lost between...
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist James DeFazio.
Good Thursday evening. It was another fantastic day across Central New York. Warm, sunny skies, and that continues this evening. We are tracking a cold front that's going to work through overnight tonight. We're going to see big differences in temperature as we head into Friday and Saturday. We're going to be saying goodbye to these warm, comfortable conditions for a couple of days. But right now, plenty of comfortable conditions to enjoy for the rest of the evening. 79 with partly cloudy up at Griffiths and Rome. It's been a bit of a breezy day. We've had winds between 5 and 15 miles per hour, and those winds will continue till about sunset, and then they'll begin to die down overnight tonight. Here comes the cold front from the northwest. It's going to work through overnight tonight. It's going to usher in probably what is going to be our coldest air of the season by Saturday morning. We're tracking the frost risk overnight. This is for Friday. This is not for tonight. This is for Friday night into Saturday morning. You're going to want to be prepared to protect any sensitive or protect all vegetation that you still have out there. Any outdoor plants are going to need protection. We're going to see a widespread hard frost. Some of us are going to even see a solid freeze. We'll talk about how low we expect that temperature to get in just a moment. Highs the next 2 days in the wake of the cold front are only in the upper 60s, but we do have a warming trend behind that. The second half of the weekend, we return back up into the mid-70s. First day of fall, not quite upper 70s like we were originally thinking, but still mid-70s with widespread sunshine, a non-fall-like day. And we continue to track what is going to be above average temperatures for the next 8 to 14 days out from now. We still see no long-term pattern change in the near future of cooler weather. We are going to continue to see above average temperatures into the beginning of October. The fall foliage report, we've expanded the colors because these trees are changing fast this year. We're at the midpoint across the Adirondacks, the northern Adirondacks. with many, all of us pretty much seeing some color at this point. Little bit of color across the extreme lowest elevations of the Mohawk Valley, downtown Utica especially. Everywhere else, though, south of Route 20, also seeing quite a bit of color as well. Dry weather continues on the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Unfortunately, we still don't have any drought-busting rainfall in the forecast. Looking at the skycast for tonight, with a cold front passage, we may see a sprinkle between 9 and 11 p.m., but almost entirely dry cold front passage. Clouds increase by tomorrow morning, but fortunately, as we head into the afternoon, right about the noon hour, clouds completely fizzle out and decrease. It ends up finishing the day with sunny skies. As we head into Saturday morning, very, very cold temperatures. We're in the 20s across the North Country, the low 30s across the Mohawk Valley and the southern tier. Very, very chilly air. This evening, though, mid-70s with sunny skies. A look at your 7-day forecast. A warm start to fall, and our next chance for rain finally arrives on Tuesday. It looks like we're going to have showery weather on Tuesday. It doesn't look like a widespread soaker or a heavy rain, but finally some rain back in the forecast.
Time now for a first look at the forecast with meteorologist James DeFazio.
Still no signs of that much-needed drought-busting rainfall. We do have 1 day of showers forecasted, and we'll break that down coming up. But I want to show the drought map and why it's been so extreme. We've only received about 50% of the rainfall that we typically receive since the beginning of July. And since September 1st, or I should say since August 1st, it has gotten way, way worse. It's just been exacerbated extremely over the last couple of weeks. Beautiful weather continues this evening, though. A slight breeze will continue as well. We've seen breeze today between 5 and 15 miles per hour. It's going to begin to die down after sunset tonight. Still 77 degrees at Griffith and Rome, mostly cloudy currently. Mid-70s tonight with mostly sunny skies across the region. Lows tonight not going to be nearly as cool as what we're going to see. We have a cold front working through overnight tonight. We're going to track that coming up, as well as frost and freeze chances for Friday night. Jason, Kristen?
In the overnight hours, Utica.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist James DeFazio.
Good Thursday evening. It was a beautiful day across Central New York yet again, which unfortunately has exacerbated the drought another day further. We still see no drought-busting rainfall in sight, but we are tracking a few things, and we have a few frost and freeze risks that we need to mention. Tonight, though, beautiful conditions, sunny skies, temperatures comfortable. We're still in the upper 70s. It's 77 degrees with mostly cloudy skies at Griffith and Rome. Most of us seeing partly sunny conditions. Breeze today was between 5 and 15 miles per hour. We're seeing that come down, and it will further come down right after sunset. It will die down to near calm winds. We're tracking this cold front, which is going to work in from the northwest overnight tonight, and it's going to usher in some of the coldest air that we've seen yet this season. Very, very cold air settles in by Saturday morning. So much so that we're going to see temperatures all the way down into the 30s, and some of the higher elevations are going to get into the 20s. Taking a look at the freeze risk, everywhere that is in pink here is the most likely to go below 32 degrees. All of the blues, very likely to see some light frost at the very least. All of us likely to see some frost or freeze by Saturday morning, a hard frost at the very least. Temperature trend in the wake of this cold front. Cooler weather settles in for Friday and Saturday, highs only in the upper 60s. Warmer weather returns for the beginning of next week. We settle into the mid-70s. The 8 to 14-day temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center continues to favor above-average temperatures for the final week of September and the first week of October. We still are at 50 to 60% probability of these above-average temperatures, and there's still no major pattern change looming or in sight. The fall foliage report. The leaves are changing quickly. We are already up to midpoint across most of the northern Adirondacks. Everywhere else north of the valley, over to some color now. We're even seeing some color along the Route 20 corridor and point southward. It's really getting quite beautiful out there. Quiet and dry in your Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar, and sadly, that's going to continue for the most part. There is one exception as we head into the night tonight. That front approaches, we may see a sprinkle, a very, very light shower at most between 9 and 10 p.m., but it's a dry passage in general of the cold front. Clouds thicken up by Friday morning, but as we head into Friday afternoon, clouds completely decrease, temperatures rise all the way up into the upper 60s, and it ends up being a very pleasant Friday evening. Tonight, very sunny skies, temperatures in the mid-70s, a very beautiful evening. A look at the 7-day forecast. We're going to get a little bit cooler after tonight's cold front works through. Highs only in the upper 60s for Friday and Saturday. Warming trend begins for the second half of the weekend and as we head into the first day of fall. Next chance for rainfall looks to arrive on Tuesday. Doesn't look like a widespread soaking rain, but it does look like we're going to get showers, intermittent showers at the very least. At least we're getting something.
We'll take it. All right, thank you, James. Still to come on News Channel 2 at Cast with meteorologist James DeFazio. Beautiful evening out there for the party on the patio.
Absolutely.
And great to get out this weekend and check out the fall foliage.
I know. The drought is severe, but at the same time, we're going to have fantastic weather, and we got to take advantage of it while we can. Fall is going to be upon us soon, and soon it's going to be winter. We got to enjoy the fall colors while we have. We're getting quite a bit of color quite quickly. The foliage has expanded quite early this year. We're a little bit early in terms of when we've already are at midpoint across the Adirondack Park. We typically don't get to midpoint for another couple weeks. All of central New York over to seeing some color at this point. There is quite a bit of leaf peeping to do out there. Tracking a few things, a cold front arrives overnight tonight, and with it, it's going to get cloudy. A couple areas of fog will develop tomorrow morning, and then it'll burn off relatively quickly. We're going to have a nice evening tomorrow, and then we're tracking a very cold night Friday night into Saturday. Very, very high risk for frost, and we're going to break that all down coming up in full weather. Temperatures right now in the upper 50s to mid 60s across the region, and we're going to see relatively mild temperatures tonight. Lows don't get too chilly. Lows in the Utica area are only going to be in the mid 50s. It's currently 61 with partly cloudy skies up in Rome, and those winds that were breezy today have since calmed down. Coming up, we'll look at those frost and freeze risk chances. Jason?
James, thank you. Concern is in the
WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist James DeFazio.
Good Thursday evening. We had another beautiful day across central New York. Unfortunately, it was another day of a very significant drought continuing, and we're continuing to track all chances for rainfall. We're also continuing to monitor drought status. Right now, though, pleasant conditions continue. Clouds are going to increase overnight tonight, 61 degrees. We're over to partly cloudy skies now up in Griffith and Rome. We had breezy conditions today. Calm winds will settle in for the overnight. We are seeing the dew point creep up a little bit. We're going to talk about what that's going to cause in just a minute or two. See this red dot in Herkimer County right here? That is the West Canada Creek at Cass Bridge, which we mentioned earlier. That water flow coming through Cass Bridge is all affected by those dams at Delta and Hinckley. That is currently at its lowest water level in 103 years. It's been 103 years they've been measuring stream flow at that bridge. It has never been lower than it currently is. We have a cold front working through from the northwest tonight, and it's going to usher in our coldest air yet of the season. Very, very cold weather. I have this starting off at midnight Saturday night. As you can see, by Saturday morning, 6:30 a.m., everyone here in pink, very, very high risk for frost, possibly freeze. All of us, everyone here in some blue, all of us have a risk of seeing some frost. We're going to show where we think the temperatures are going to end up here in just a moment. After a very warm day today, this cold front tonight brings us down all the way to highs only in the upper 60s the next 2 days. Cooler weather. Luckily, the warming trend does return. First day of fall, going to be very warm temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. Warm temperatures continue into the last week of September and the first week of October. That warming trend continues to look probable. The Climate Prediction Center continues to forecast above average temperatures. Dry weather on the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. This is a dry passage of the cold front. We're keeping an eye on visibility around the state. One little area of reduced visibility up at Saranac Lake, but fog will develop before daybreak tomorrow morning locally. A look at Skycast tonight. Clouds increase overnight tonight, but look what happens as we head towards the middle portions of the day tomorrow. We get to about noon, we deal with clouds through the morning, and then it becomes very sunny, and it's a very pleasant day. As we head into Saturday morning, take a look at some of these numbers. We're in the 20s across the North Country, low 30s to mid 30s in the city of Utica. Very, very, very cold air. Be prepared to protect your vegetation if you have any plants left. Lows tonight in the mid 50s with increasing clouds. A look at your 7-day forecast. The next rainfall chance comes on Tuesday. We're tracking the chance for some showery weather during the day on Tuesday. That may linger into the start of Wednesday before drier weather settles back in.
Meteorologist James DeFazio. Beautiful weather for the Mohawk Valley YWCA event tonight.
Yes, absolutely.
Great weather for fall foliage, too.
We have plenty of beautiful weather in the forecast. While our drought is still going to continue, we're going to have plenty of opportunities for you to do leaf peeping, and we are getting plenty of color across the North Country. We are now over to the midpoint across the Adirondacks. Everywhere north of the Mohawk Valley is seeing quite a bit of color, as well as south of Route 20. So it's really starting to get quite scenic out there. We're tracking a cold front that's going to arrive overnight tonight. It's going to be a dry passage. We're just going to get some clouds. We're going to see some areas of fog develop before tomorrow morning. It's going to be some areas of reduced visibilities. And then we're tracking a heavy frost for Friday night. It's going to get very cold Friday night into Saturday morning, very cold at least for this time of year. Temperatures across the region in the upper 50s to low 60s. It's going to be a mild night, especially compared to the colder air that it's going to build in tomorrow in the wake of this cold front. 62 degrees with partly cloudy skies. After very breezy conditions today, winds have calmed down. Coming up, we're going to break down the very few rainfall chances we do have, as well as how cold this weekend looks to get. Jason?
James, thank you.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist James DeFazio.
Good Thursday evening. It was a beautiful day across Central New York yet again. And we're going to continue to see pleasant conditions for several more days. A little bit cooler, but still very pleasant as we head into the end of the week and the beginning of the weekend. Down to 62 degrees with partly cloudy skies at Rome. Winds are down to calm after being quite breezy. We saw 5 to 15 mile per hour winds consistently today. I want to show this map just to give you an idea of just how severe our drought is. All of these red dots indicating record low levels of stream flow, and we have over 100 years of data going back. Some incredibly low water levels right now. This cold front is currently working across New York State, and as it does so, it's going to usher in much, much cooler air for both Friday and for Saturday. And we're going to wake up Saturday morning to some incredibly cold air for this time of year. We have a very, very strong frost risk. By Saturday morning, everywhere in pink here is pretty much guaranteed to be seeing frost. They also have to be anyone seeing pink here has a freeze risk as well. It has a very good chance of dropping below 32 degrees. All of us here are somewhat in blue, and we do expect all of us to at least have some light patchy frost. We'll break down exactly how cold we expect that to get coming up. Highs the next 2 days, cooler in the wake of the cold front, only in the upper 60s. We do get warmer as we head into next week. Highs to begin the week in the upper 70s. We're not saying goodbye to warm temperatures just yet. The Climate Prediction Center continues to favor above average temperatures for the end of September through the beginning of October. And dry weather continues on your Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Another dry passage of a front. Cold front did not bring any showers. Looking around the state, there's no stations at this time reporting visibility. A little bit of fog showing up north of Saranac Lake. Do expect some areas of patchy fog to develop before daybreak tomorrow. Just be mindful if you're doing any traveling during the early morning. Tonight, clouds increase as this front works across central New York. We wake up tomorrow morning to very cloudy skies, but fortunately, we do not finish the day that way. Plenty of sunshine throughout the afternoon. Clouds decrease very quickly. Highs end up in the upper 60s. I have this now up to Saturday morning, 6:30 a.m. We're in the 20s across the North Country, some 20s in the hilltops across the southern tier, low to mid 30s across the Mohawk Valley. Very, very cold air. And yes, we're going to see widespread frost and even some freeze. Tonight, lows not nearly as cold, only in the mid-50s. Clouds increase throughout the night. A look at your 7-day forecast. We start fall on Monday with rather warm temperatures, mid-70s. And then our next chance for rainfall finally arrives on Tuesday. It doesn't look to be a drought-busting or significant or widespread rainfall, but showery conditions do look likely.